What up, y'all? It's your man Wayne Train back with another joint. And I know it's been a minute. Man, it's been a minute. I've been sick for a little bit and I just been kind of on my lazy stuff again. But, you know, I got to work my way through it. But here we are, 1 month later with my Samsung Galaxy S10 review. I know typically a lot of YouTubers like to wait, you know, maybe a couple weeks, maybe even a week after the phone's initial release. But I wanted to wait a month with this one. And depending on some phones, you know, obviously you get your answer relatively fast. But with the S10, I kind of wanted to take my time a little bit in terms of just what I think of this device and get some real concrete views on it. Damn. Case dirty as a mug, as you can see. But after a month, my idea with this video is to kind of give you guys a better perspective of what you can expect your phone to even like look like after a month in terms of like how it holds up, given, you know, you have a case or something, but like, you know, battery life. A lot of people think that you could probably even see a little bit of a drop in battery performance after a month of, you know, recharging and charging and all that stuff. Nothing significant, but enough to kind of decide, you know, whether that's a big deal or not. But, you know, things like that after a month long. And the whole honeymoon phase is completely gone when it comes to any phone, in my opinion, depending on how good it is, obviously, after a month. So with that said, here it is, Samsung Galaxy S10, my thoughts and opinions on it. So yeah, after a month, what I suggested to start, I definitely would suggest it, you know, flat out. Like, I have no gripes in that department. I do believe that this is a great phone. I will even go as far as to say this is probably Samsung's best in terms of just everything put together. There's definitely things within each element of the phone that could be done better, you know, or like, damn, that's so dusty. Yeah, within each element, you know, you could probably find some things to nitpick about. Like I said, for me, I did some other videos kind of highlighting some of the negatives and the positives of the video, or of the S10. And one of the negatives that really kind of drove me a little nuts is the fact that, you know, there's no great detection of like when it's in your pocket. So I get a lot of accidental presses and stuff like that. And that's one thing that I never really experienced with any other phone in like recent and prior years or whatever. And even other Samsung devices, I never had that problem. I'm having it a lot with this one. Maybe it has a little bit to do with with like sensors, you know. I don't notice any sensors on the front side. I see something I mean, there's sensors in the back and stuff, obviously, but like, you know, in previous gens, phones with notches and whatnot, they always had some kind of sensor in the front, and I'm wondering if that's playing a part in why it's not getting great detection of like pocket detection and whatnot. But you know, that could be something small for some people. For some people, that could be a deal breaker. Nevertheless, you know, I gotta mention that, and for me, that was probably one of the biggest things next to the fingerprint scanner. Now, let's see. So let's just do this. This is my thing about the fingerprint scanner with the S10, and maybe even the other ones are the S10 Plus. I'm not sure if there's any issues with that, but with my S10, you know, it works. As you can see, it works. Definitely not as fast as in like a physical fingerprint scanner, or even of the likes of the OnePlus 6T with I think it's the optical fingerprint scanner. You know, this is the ultrasonic. So there's some drawbacks and stuff, you know, in the department of speed, but supposedly there's better security. It's not as what am I trying to say? It's more secure than like any of your other fingerprint scanners is basically what I'm trying to say. But you know, there's also face recognition and stuff. So you have options and whatnot in terms of getting in your phone. But my biggest thing with supposedly the most like secure feature, the one that allows you to still use Samsung Pay and any other pay services and things, is the fingerprint scanner, because like while it works, a lot of times, you know, it just seems like you have to focus on it a little bit too much. With the prior security options we had with Samsung, the iris scanner, which I do miss a lot. I would probably take the iris scanner over this fingerprint scanner, if you ask me. It seems like you just got to think about it, like, for it to work. So, like, you know, and if you ever had a Samsung device with an iris scanner, for me, you know, you would just pick it up, put it in your face, like, you know, like normal, and then there's nothing really to it. It kind of detects and finds you relatively quick. You don't have to actually think about it. For me, there is still that, like, something in the back of your head when you, like, are about to try to do your fingerprint scanner. You gotta, all right, get it in the right area. And then, you know, it works, it'll work. But like, just say like you just pull it out your pocket and whatnot, and like, you know, you want to go right into it on a smooth kind of thing, like just kind of, you know, you get that, you know, every now and then it's just, you get those hiccups. And first year of tech, you know, you can kind of expect that. But I think it's just, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's just the fact that it's something that you kind of have to think of when you really want it to work at its maximum potential. For me, you know, it ain't, again, not a deal breaker for me, but it can be for some other people. And in most cases, I would say, if there was another phone with similar specs, similar features, i.e. maybe even Huawei, with all that put together, and they had another security option that was a little bit more reliable, even if it was a fingerprint scanner, that was just a little bit more reliable, I might opt towards that over this, just because, you know, that could be I don't know, if it's a fumbling kind of thing, like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just, when you spend a lot of money on a device like this, you kind of want everything to be working snappy, smooth, no issues. You know, $900 to $1,000 for phones. We shouldn't be having like little like hiccups like that. And like with this kind of feature, because this is something that's very big. It's something very important. It needs to be basically flawless, if you ask me, for $1,000. I don't care if it's first year tech, second year, you know, whatever. Don't release it to the public if it ain't ready. That's what I'm kind of going by. So, but that doesn't mean I don't think it's ready. It's definitely ready for the public. It's just, it is what it is, obviously. So, fingerprint scanner. What else we was talking about? The accidental touches thing. That's something that, two of the biggest things for me that I'd probably say can possibly be deal breakers for many of you, and even for myself. Like, if there was a better phone, more affordable, with a similar feature spec or feature list or whatever, I might opt towards that. Huawei, if it was available in the States as easily as Samsung S10s and stuff, I might opt towards that. Google Pixel, if it was on T-Mobile, I might opt towards that, you know. I probably wouldn't say iPhone. I'm just thinking about Androids. I don't really want to get into that. But, you know, that's just where I'm at with the negatives. But I don't want to be negative Nancy about it. The S10 is an amazing phone. I'm not even going to front. How it would hold up over a month I'm checking over the whole phone. I know the camera may not do it a lot of justice, but I don't see any like really major scuffs. I have been handling it with particularly good care. Build quality, by the way, is great. It feels great in the hands and all that. Weight, it doesn't feel too heavy, too light. I've said that before. I think it's perfect. But now, like, the aluminum looks great. I don't see any big scratches on the back. I believe it's Gorilla Glass 5. I do got my white stone dome glass on the front, so that's obviously gonna be protected. Gorilla Glass 6, not obviously, but Gorilla Glass 6 on the front side. But but just looking over the phone, it's in great shape, man. Like after a month, I don't know if you guys had like the iPhone XS or iPhone 10. After like a couple of weeks of me owning that in a case, the stainless steel, I believe that was around the sides, looked terrible. So I guess I got to find out whether that's like, if that's true or not. Maybe I think aluminum might be a little bit less scratch resistant, a little bit more scratch resistant rather than stainless steel, and maybe not as durable, but apparently cheaper. So if that's one of the reasons why Samsung opted for that, big ups to them for that too, because that's a smart move. Because with a case, you ain't really got to worry about too much of the drops and bending and all that stuff. So and it's a really sturdy phone, so you ain't got to worry about that either. The ergonomics, what a lot of people like to say, the feels great. I love just, if you ain't got a case on it, it feels great. If in my opinion, this is where I would say it would be one of Samsung's best designed phones. It feels great. You got the bezels, the bezel ratio. What we talking about? Look at this. Like, you just got that little circle cut out. It looks great. That's what's up. Not a lot of bezels. I'm not bezels and all that stuff ain't a deal breaker for me. Notches have become somewhat of a deal breaker for me. I'm kind of sick of the notches. If you could do bezel-less, whatever. If it has some bezels, I'm cool with that too. Notches is just kind of like, I'm not really with all that. If you ain't gonna have a bezel-less, something similar to this, don't do the notch. Just give us a big chin and forehead or whatever. I'm straight with that. But the way Samsung did it with this, with the little hole punch, I thought it was going to be an annoying thing. It's not. I did take a few photos. I was at the NCAA national title game. It was up here in Minnesota, so I got an opportunity to check that out. But took a few photos of that. I didn't get a lot of comparisons with like the wide angle versus the, come on now. Okay, there we go. Wide angle versus the standard, but this is wide angle. It wouldn't have gotten all this. This is the US Bank Stadium. It got the entire stadium. You had to show you bullet, we was out there. But these like right off the phone, it's not gonna show you a lot of justice, but the camera on the S10 is amazing. You ain't gotta worry about that. The wide angle is amazing. It does a great job in lighting. Low lighting, like many phones, you're gonna have a little bit of issues, but it's still not that bad. That was at night with that shot that I took of the stadium. So I think you'd be really happy with that video. It's great, shoots in 4K, 60. Has great stabilization. I am going to try to get a video up of some comparisons to a GoPro. So, yeah, we're going to have that coming. Display is amazing. You got your quad HD. Let's go with the battery life. 3,400 milliamp hour battery. Let me go ahead to my device care here, and I can show y'all what I've been working with a little bit for battery life. Let's see here. So lately I haven't even really been charging my phone up 100%. I just kind of let it go. But This says estimated battery life 11 hours. I don't know. That might not be totally accurate, but let's go to usage. What does it say? 12 hours. It's been off the phone, off the charger for 12 hours apparently. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I got 3.5 hours screen on time. I can tell you typically what I can expect for a day. When I go to work, I take my phone off the charger, say I'm at 100%. I'm gonna get through an entire day. Depending on how I play music basically from start to finish in my shift, which is from 8 to 5. Maybe off and on here, but like regularly, I would say I'm playing music for at the very, very least 5 hours out of that time frame. And, you know, it's just going on in the background, podcasts and whatnot like that. I'm on social media a little bit, nothing crazy, getting a little bit of emails, a few notifications. So by the time I get home, my phone is still going to be around 25 to 30%. So is that great? You know, it is what it is. I don't know what you expect from a Samsung device with a 3400 milliamp hour battery, but I would say that's serviceable and pretty good for what we're going towards in today's market with phones. So unless you got like a 4000 milliamp hour battery, I wouldn't expect a ton. And even in those phones, if they're not optimized correctly, it might not be that great. So, and another thing, I guess what I want to kind of close this out with, I definitely would suggest the S10. So I'm not going to say it's a bad phone at all. I love the phone a lot. But for those people who got the S10e, thumbs up if you could tell. Y'all the MVPs. Y'all was the smart ones. Y'all made the best decision. I say that because of the things that I said. I didn't mention this yet, but you know, the fingerprint scanner, you don't have to deal with that with the S10e. It's got the physical one on the side. For what I've seen, it's a little bit more reliable, you know, great option. The other thing that I noticed is the 1080p display. Now, with my S10, once it goes dead or goes into low battery mode, it switches to the least battery consuming display resolution. So if you're in Quad HD, it's going to step down to 1080p. But when you go back up to 100%, it does not put you back at Quad HD. It stays there. So what I've noticed, what I've been using my phone, I have not really been going back to Quad HD. It's not that I don't even really notice it, because I haven't really, but the thing is, I haven't looked for it. So once it goes back, it's not one of those things where I'm saying like, damn, I gotta hurry up and put my phone back in Quad HD. It's not that. Like, it's just a nice feature to have. And I used to give a lot of companies gripes, for like OnePlus, for not moving from 1080p to Quad HD. It's not that big a deal, honestly, and it saves a lot on battery. So if you're having any issues with your S10 with battery life, you might want to consider bumping it down to 1080p. And I promise you probably won't even really be sorry. Like, it's nice to look at, but if it means your phone dying in the middle of the day, I might just opt to go back to the 1080p. So that's why I would say people who got the S10e over the S10 and an S10 Plus, y'all probably made the best decision. You know, it don't got the telephoto lens, but who really, I mean, I use it a little bit, but I'd rather have a wide angle, so. But anyway, man, that's my S10 review. Definitely would suggest it. $900 retail. You know, available obviously all carriers, a lot of different colors. Definitely would suggest it, but also be on the look. But just look out for the S10e. That might be something that might be more useful for most consumers, I would say. It's a little bit cheaper, and yeah, that's my review though. Hit me up in the comments what you think. If you have any questions about your S10 or any other phones you might be thinking about getting, if you got some options you want to throw up in the air, we can weigh those options together. We can answer those questions. It's your man, Wayne Train. I'm out. Oh yeah, like, subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed. I'm out.